The facts of revenue sharing are already beginning to show their consequences. Let's talk about what Oklahoma has going on and why I think this is going to be affected across the board. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football. We talk football year round. So if you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Did you expect that Oklahoma would see staff cuts as a result of the revenue sharing that we all know is imminent in college football? Because that's what's happening. For those of you living underneath that particular rock, the House versus NCAA settlement is going to change the way that college sports are funded, who gets to make money from it, and a level of transparency that we've never seen, plus a new way and a new institution for enforcing rules, one that we've needed for some time. All of this is happening all at once. We've had straight seating come through. We've had revenue sharing where we know that all programs have a limit of $20.5 million they have to revenue share, right? But not everybody's going to have $20.5 million to share, if that makes sense. Then we've got not just the 12-team playoff for the second year, but we're already looking at expanding to 16 teams. We've got the College Sports Commission, which is going to have a CEO, which seems to function just like a commissioner would, where they can levy punishment against everybody. And importantly here, you can't sue because you don't like the result of the punishment or the investigation. Things like what Michigan is even doing now, as we still are waiting for the end of the electronic sign stealing saga that began with Connor Stallions and ended with a national championship and has continued to go on the University of Michigan dating back to last year, right? We expect to know something here next month. But now I thought it was interesting to pick out Oklahoma. It's my team. It's where I got my master's degree. It's where I've lived 24 years now. Went to high school in Tulsa. I went to undergrad at TU. I went to grad school at Oklahoma. And before I got this job, I was pursuing a PhD at Oklahoma State. So I am of the state is of me, and I choose to stay here. Tulsa's my home, right? It's quite literally where I have my house. But I say that to say that in Oklahoma, the pro team is the Thunder when they're good, like right now. Like they're good. They're a pro team, right? They might win the NBA championship. We'll see. It'd be the first time that that's ever happened. And last time they got close, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka and them were not enough. Russell Westbrook were not enough to get past LeBron and the Miami Heat. So maybe something's different if you get to see Indiana or New York over there. But, SGA winning MVP is great. But we've had pro football in the state of Oklahoma for over 100 years. And I'm saying that with my tongue planted firmly in my cheek. But if you understand me and you understand the get down of Oklahoma, you understand that the football team is what we have built our entire existence around. I'd say the one-to-one for us is Nebraska, right? Nebraska got to win. Nebraska's got to play great football. It's why it sucked that they've been so awful for so long. But I think Nebraska and Oklahoma are going to see themselves in similar boats here because it is the place where you make all the money, right? It's also the place where everybody wants to be a part of what you're doing. Even so, Joe Castiglione has had to lay off 5% of the athletic department, which has about 300 plus employees. And what that amounts to is about 15 people. And I even think that Castiglione might end up taking a pay cut on this one, mostly because you're having to redistribute a lot of the money that you were making to athletes, not just in football, but basketball. And at Oklahoma, we got a softball program that's pretty damn good. We got a national championship gymnastics program, both men's and women's when they're good. But KJ Kindler's just been running the game over there in women's gymnastics. And every now and again, Mark Williams pops up as an Olympic assistant coach because he's putting out Olympians. And we've got a baseball team that time to time pretty damn good. It's a lot of great athletes and athletics at Oklahoma. And since Joe Castiglione came on way back in 98, that is what the program has basically been synonymous with across all sports. It's we play sports and we play them well, right? Men's basketball made the Final Four about 8 years ago with Lon Kruger. I talk about the baseball team being good for a moment. We got our fits and starts, but then Bobby Witt comes through, right? Kyler Murray played in the outfield more at Oklahoma than he played in the major leagues, which is, I think, saying something. And then you know what Patty Gasso means to the state. I think she should have her own statue. She probably will, alongside Bob Stoops, Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer. We've also had a sustained run of excellence up until here recently in football, where Oklahoma went damn near 25 years without a losing season. That came to an end a couple years ago. And I think a lot of that is indicative of the consequences that you face, knowing that this was on the horizon even a couple of years ago, right? Because 2021, we knew name, image, and likeness was a thing, and it was getting a little bit out of control. And when you got to see state attorneys generals get involved in it, suing the NCAA because they didn't like the way that the rules were being enforced upon them, you end up going to the NCAA, we don't have subpoena power, we can't make these things stick, so we just throw up our hands at it. It's one of the reasons I don't like doing segments about systems and ideas, because there's nothing really to pin that to, right? Like, there's a problem, sure. Like, climate change is a problem, but it's a system and an idea. What can we do as individuals? What can we do as people making up an institution is always much more interesting to me. I don't particularly care so much about what idea you think is good. I want to talk about the details and the people that are performing them. And Consiglione is a man that is performing the details, the hard work. That is letting people go. That is laying off folks. I don't care who you are. If you make $20,000 a year, you make $300,000 a year. A layoff is a layoff. It's getting fired is what it is. And if you haven't been fired before, it's coming. It comes for all of us. Everybody gets laid off. I mean, even before I got to Tulsa, I was in Norman covering OU men's basketball and football as a second on the beat. And I got laid off and fired for this reason, right? 2013, Oklahoma has a banner year. 2014, not so much. And then because subscriptions were down at the rival site, I was told, hey, I can no longer fund your position. About 6 months later, Bob Prisbillo gets that job. Does a great job. Love Bob's work. Bob does an outstanding job. Still, your bands was making it happen for about 3 years, doing armed carbon investigator work, some bail enforcement. Yes, I still got my cleat certifications, ASE and brakes and suspension, and personal training. I had certificates from the ACSM, NASM, and I was CSCS. So I had all these different licenses so I could try to cobble together something like a livelihood while putting my ex-wife through law school. She passes the bar, we get divorced. That's how it goes, right? Even now, right, I tend to look at these and go, people are having to pivot. People are trying to figure out what's going on. Friends that have been lifers in athletics or lifers in journalism, for that matter, have been forced to find something new and different to do. It's not fun. That is to say, this is one consequence of the revenue sharing and name, image, and likeness, and frankly, the world catching up to the NCAA. Because it has been wild, I tell you, that athletes have not been able to profit a dime, make any money going to play college sports, to which people would say, but they get an education. Yeah, I'd take the money every single time. Every single time, I would take the money. You can go get an education on your own, right? If that's what you want to spend your money on, go right ahead. You can get an education. You can get a degree for less than 10 grand, maybe less than that, depending on where you want to go to school and just how important it is for you to have X next to your name. If it is important to you that you go to the University of Tulsa, it's going to cost you quite a bit of money. If it's not, you go to Rogers State, you get the same bachelor's degree, and you go to work without the debt, probably, because the people that are going to the University of Tulsa either are on scholarship or they're incurring lots of debt. It's really structured that way across the United States. It's one of the reasons I have advocated, hey, look, only the people that don't have degrees think you should go get one. But as a person with two, yeah. Do I need a degree to do this job? No, I need to be able to perform this job. I need to do it in a way that other people value it. And that's where I derive my revenue share, right? I think as we talk about Oklahoma, though, and I made this mention of Nebraska, you're going to get to see this all over the country because Oklahoma is a healthy athletic department. It's a very healthy athletic department. It's a profitable athletic department. Wasn't that long ago that only about 10 or 15 programs in the entire country could claim a profit on their athletic program because it's a loss leader, right? It's always been a loss leader. But when you were Oklahoma and you're able to not just – it went from at Oklahoma, the university had to subsidize athletics, mostly football, because football was so bad. People that remember the Schnellenberger year and the Blakey years understand what I'm talking about. quickly, as Bob Stoops won the national championship and Oklahoma became the kind of program you could depend on being in the BCS national championship conversation and later the college football playoff conversation, the university was being subsidized by the athletic department. That means the athletic department was kicking money in to the university at all. And that's remarkable. That doesn't happen. I think the University of Colorado can say the same thing since Deion Sanders has shown up just by what the economic impact has been there. But because Oklahoma is close to Oklahoma City doesn't mean that it's going to have the same sort of financial impact as, say, Colorado at Boulder because they got the Denver Broncos. NFL is always going to help you. Being around an NFL program at any time in any state, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. And then they get to add Denver Nuggets and Jokic. I feel like Oklahoma City fans just going to get mad at me. Nikola Jokic is the greatest basketball player on the face of the earth. I think it's asinine that he did not win the MVP. I'm happy for SGA. I'm enjoying it. He deserves an MVP. But if we're talking about the best player on the planet today, he's in Denver. You know what I'm saying? And he's from Serbia, not from Canada. And he didn't play in Kentucky. He came over here and he started shutting it down, doing things that nobody else has ever done. All right, there's my tangent on that. But I'm curious, do you think that your university, if it's the size of an Oklahoma, let's say a top 25 program, is going to see these sorts of staff cuts? And if not, tell me why. And the smaller schools, it's probably going to get a little bit more dicey, if it hasn't already. Because now people are not measured by winning championships as much as they're measured by, did you make the college football playoff and how close did you get to being able to bring some of that money in? That's how we're going to do this, especially knowing that the Big Ten is going to get more spots. The SEC is going to get more spots. Big 12, ACC are going to round it out. And then you're going to have a fight on your hands if you're a group of 6 program. Not everybody's going to end up being Boise State. So what happens to those programs? Yeah, we're interested, but let's put it this way. If I do a segment about Tarleton State, you're not going to watch it. If I do a segment about Houston, you're not going to watch it. If I do a segment about Fresno State, you could give a damn. If you did, maybe we wouldn't have that many staff cuts.